Welcome to Bold and Beautiful with a glass of wine, the safe spot for women to come bare and be vulnerable and not be judged by it. Pouring their hearts out and speaking the truth of what they've been through and still going through to societal construct of what's expected of them. Together we're strong, together we'll overcome. So now, take a sip, take a deep breath, relax, block out the noise. Now let's talk.
Hey y'all, how's everyone doing? Welcome back to my podcast. My name is Flora Chiedo. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate, and thank you for also listening to my previous episode. I did an episode on postpartum depression. I had a lot of good reviews. I had women who reach out to me on the topic. I had people that have gone through postpartum depression and are still going through it, and they had situations where a lot of people didn't understand what it was they were going through, and they were more than happy. They were so excited that I was putting out that episode on and talking about it and creating awareness on it. And I'm grateful, and I hope it helped one or two persons out there, because at the end of the day, that's actually all I just want. Anyways, so today I'm going to be talking about my new episode and the episode I'll be releasing from now moving forward. So a few weeks ago, I went to Abuja and I met up with the pioneer of the Dorothy Njemanzi Foundation, Dorothy Njemanzi herself. I met up with her, and I was linked to her. What she's doing over in Abuja is amazing. It's amazing. So she has this foundation that caters to the needs of women that have gone through, social and gender-based violence. At the Dorothy Njemanzi Foundation, they envision a world in which everyone is safe from violence. They want a world where gender equality is the norm. They believe in the sustainable development goals, and they work with these goals to achieve a world where no one is left behind. They're actually first responders, and they offer real-time support to survivors of sexual and gender-based violence. They equip them with the right medical, police, legal, and psychosocial support they may need on their walk to healing. What they are doing over there is amazing. So she does all of that, and she has this shelter where, she keeps, a couple of women that are going through this and really do not have anywhere to go to. They don't have accommodations, so they are making them understand that you don't have to stay in whatever situation you find yourself in just because you don't have anywhere to go to, just because you don't have a shelter or an accommodation or anything. You don't have to remain there, because this could be harmful to you. It could be harmful to your child. So she has this shelter where she caters to the needs of these women, and truthfully, it's not easy. We know what it means to even take care of one person, or even have to house one person. How much more housing a woman that has kids? How much more housing over 19 people? Because right now she has about 19 people in the shelter. So it really is not easy having to do that, and truly she's doing it on her own. It's just once in a while she could have few people come in and support here and there. When I got there, she took me around the shelter. She made me see. I went around. I saw the women. I saw the kids. Oh my God! I saw the entire place, the rooms where they stay in, and what she's doing is amazing. But still, there's still a lot that can still be done. There are a lot of things these women still need. A lot of things these kids need. I spoke to a couple of people. I spoke to an underage girl that was raped when she was 12, and I spoke to some women that went through domestic violence. I spoke to a girl that was molested for over 7 years. It's too overwhelming. It's too overwhelming. I call Dorothy a superhuman, because I don't know how she does it. Having to listen to these women every single day come in and need help. It's not easy. So I just hope that, and I spoke to a couple of these women, and I hope that releasing these episodes, someone out there can listen, and if it drops in your spirit, if it's something that you're led to do, you could reach out to them. can reach out to the Earth Njimanzi Foundation, and whatever way you can help, nothing is too small. If you can't reach out to them directly, you can reach out to me, on any of my social media platform, and I will definitely connect you to the foundation, whatever way you can help. Anyways, let me not talk too much or bore you. Let me just get right into it. So I spoke to the kids. I actually spoke to the kids. I didn't speak to them for long. I just had like a very brief conversation with them. I just asked them, how old they were, what they want to be when they grow up, if they enjoy staying here, what exactly they want, moving forward. And you'll be very surprised to hear what some kids are saying. Even kids that are not even up to 13, they're not even up to being teenagers. They're really young kids, under 10, and most of them, what they would say are things like they just want, their mom to be settled. They just want people to help their mom, so their mom can maybe get an accommodation or get somewhere they could stay, because truthfully, these people have gone through hell, and these kids get to experience all of this, which is very detrimental to them, growing up. It can affect them, growing up. So I spoke to the kids, I spoke to the women. They shared their stories, and they shared what it is they really want, because almost all these kids I spoke to are not in school. We have 2-year-olds, we have 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds, we have 10, we have 8, and all these kids are not in school because they don't have what it takes. Their mom are not they don't really have enough to cater to their needs and the needs of their children, and even send them to school after going through this abusive stage in their relationship. That's why the Earth Njimanzi there also is a limit to what she can do, because she's doing this on her own. So she's already providing accommodation and catering to these people, feeding them and all, every single day. You know what it means to feed people morning, afternoon, and night every day, and making sure they have provisions of a lot of things. So it's having to send kids to school is another task on its own. So like I said, hopefully with this my few episodes, you could help them get the need, help them get what they truly deserve, with help here and there from people that would listen. So I'm going to be kicking off with the underage girl I spoke to that was raped when she was 12. Before we get into that, I just want to do a little breakdown on rape. Rape is an unlawful sexual activity most often involving sexual intercourse. It's against the will of the victim with force or the threat of force, emphasis on force or the threat of force, or with an individual who is either incapable of giving legal consent because of minor status or mental illness, mental deficiency, intoxication, unconsciousness, or deception. Many jurisdictions, the crime of rape has been subsumed under that of sexual assault, but rape was long considered to be caused by unbridled sexual desire, but is now understood as a pathological assertion of power. So a rapist or a victim may be, either an adult or a child. Rape can occur in a same-sex intercourse also. Rape is a serious crime and is treated as a felony in most countries with common law systems. But unfortunately, some countries do not take rape cases seriously. For example, Nigeria. I'm going to emphasize on Nigeria because in this part of our world, we don't really take rape cases seriously. You would be very shocked as to how people perceive, victims of rape, or how they react to victims of rape. You see people report cases of rape, and the kind of reactions you'll be getting is it's crazy, because you begin people ask questions like, what were you wearing? Where were you at? Who were you with? Some questions. I don't know why people would, when a case of rape is reported, you first, try to blame the victim. Like, you caused it, you addressed it certain way, you were here at this particular time when you shouldn't be. Like, why should there be restrictions as to how the woman, goes about her life, or because she doesn't want to be harassed by someone that should know better? I'm going to let me give a little bit of statistics on rape in the world. Let me start from Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, the rape is a crime. which can be legally prosecuted, yes. But in practice, it is very rarely reported because there's an immense risk that women face if they report it, making it so difficult and impossible for people to report rape cases in Afghanistan. As much as, yes, you would say it's legally prosecuted, 1 out of 3 women in Europe have suffered some form of physical or sexual assault. At least one woman is raped every 90 minutes in Zimbabwe. A total of 1,524 cases were reported during the first 3 months of the year, up from 1,285 recorded in the same period last year. Of these reported cases, 780 were children, while 276 were children aged between 5 and 10. The 780 that were children were aged between 11 and 16 years. However, there are fears that the number could be higher as some cases go unreported. Of course, in Canada, for example, there are 460,000 sexual assaults in the country every year. It is said that 33 out of 1,000 sexual assault cases are reported to the police and 29 are recorded as a crime. We have 1 out of 6 Australian women, they have to face the torture of rape by a non-partner, compared to 1 in 14 women around the world. Sexual assault cases rose to about 15% in a year, and at schools the number doubled. See, in India, for example, a woman is being raped after every 20 minutes. 98 women are being raped in the country every day. The majority of offenders are known as victims. Let me talk about the Amnesty International. Amnesty International, for example, when they were reporting rape cases in Nigeria, they said, the police forces in Nigeria are reported to have perpetrated acts of rape and other sexual abuse against women in public locations, or while women were transferred to police stations, or while women visited even male detainees in police custody. Even sometimes, we have police use sexual violence in order to extract confession and other information. Few years ago, I think about, I don't know if it was 2-3 years ago, we had a case in Abuja where they said police rounded up some girls that were, out partying, just having their normal girls' night, and they tagged all of them prostitutes, took them to the police station, and a lot of things transpired in that place. We had situations where a lot of girls were raped. They were raped using, I think they said pure water nylon or some sachet water nylon. That's what they're using to rape girls. I was like, oh my God, what the hell? What does that even mean? This is what you have reduced the Nigerian police force to, where they are raping people that they come to you hoping to be safe and secure, which is which is what is expected of the Nigerian police force. But unfortunately, they are being met with things like this. People would report cases to the police, and you would hear stories of how police is telling you need to fuel their cars before they can even follow you, to either your place or where you're reporting the case from. What do you mean fuel your car before you even get there? And then when the case is reported to you, you're very nonchalant about it. You're telling people, oh, go and settle it within yourselves. They are telling you a child is being raped, and then you're telling the person to go and settle it. How do you tell a father to go settle it with his neighbor? I can't wait to get into it for you guys to hear everything this girl has to say. Let's talk about statutory rape. Sexual intercourse or other sexual relations with a person under the legal age of consent. It varies in different states, but the term statutory rape, is a kind of sexual assault committed against a person under the age of consent by an individual in a position of authority. It could be, not just a position of authority. It could be an employee, it could be an employer, it could be a teacher, it could be a clergy person, it could be a doctor, it could be a parent, it could be a politician, it could be a neighbor, it could be anybody. As long as it's happening to a child that cannot give consent. People need to understand that. With different countries, the age of consent varies, but I don't think any child under the age of 18 should be giving consent to anybody, because nobody should be giving consent to anybody under the age of 18. A 12-year-old cannot give you consent. A 14-year-old cannot give you consent. Even a 17-year-old cannot give you consent. A child needs to be 18 years and above to even give you consent. There's nothing like she agreed to it. No child, no minor can agree to having sexual intercourse with anybody. As long as you're an adult, you can't be having sexual intercourse with a child and tell me the child is giving you consent. It's not possible. In England, for example, 1 out of 5 women aged 16 to 59 experience some form of sexual violence. Now, let's talk about South Africa, which happens to have the highest number of recorded rape cases being reported. South Africa has an estimated number of 500,000 rape cases every year. And when I say 500,000, I'm talking about the ones that are documented. Now we have more than that being recorded. South Africa has one of the highest rates of rape crimes in the world. It is estimated that more than 40% of South African women will be raped in their lifetime. The Medical Research Council has estimated that only 1 in 9 rape cases are reported. So if 1 in 9 are reported, which they are assuming, that means we have more than that. Of course, we have more than that goes unreported. The actual numbers of rape cases, of course, is much higher than numbers being recorded by the police. And a lot of people don't feel safe even going to the police anymore, because the way the police handle cases like this is just so sad. Making victims just keep to themselves and not even go to the police. Police will be asking for evidence. They'll be asking for evidence. It's that they're asking for a torn pant. Now, another thing I want to bring to notice of people is people need to understand that it's okay for people not to come forth immediately they are being raped. See, people go through so many psychological problems when this thing happens. It's not some people might have the strength to, once they're being raped and maybe they report to somebody's like, okay, let's go to the authorities and report. That's okay. Some people do that, but some people they can't even bring themselves to coming forth to even tell anybody about it. Some people wait for years before even reporting their rape cases. We've had situations where people come out like 5-10 years later and say, oh, I was raped by this person. And then some people now go, oh, why didn't you report it then? Why didn't you do this? See, it's not everybody that will always come out to report their rape cases immediately. Some might have the strength, because people don't know the psychological trauma these people have to go through. This thing affects them in the long run. So it's not everybody that has what it takes and has the strength to come out immediately. And it's okay. See, nobody is being forced. As much as, I have this platform where I'm bringing on people to share their stories on, different things they go through. We're not forcing anybody to do it. It's okay if victims or survivors are not ready to share their truth. It's perfectly fine. Like, take your time. When you are ready, we're here. We're not going anywhere. No matter what, anytime you come forth and you're ready to share your story now, trust me, there are so many people waiting to listen. There are so many people waiting to learn from it. So it doesn't matter how long it takes. As long as you are okay to share your truth, people will definitely be ready to listen. Anyways, let's get right into it. So I spoke to an underage girl that was raped when she was 12. I'm gonna allow you guys listen to her talk about her experience herself. Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Okay. So, how old are you?
I'm 16 years old.
You're 16?
Yes.
Okay. Are you in school?
No.
You're not in school?
Yes.
Why is that?
I was raped by our neighbor when I was 12 years old.
You were raped by your neighbor when you were 12?
Yes.
Oh my God. How did that happen?
It happened on Thursday when my mommy and my daddy went to church.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not preparing for church, because I'm the last person that used to lock the door. So as I was not preparing for church, and that prayer finished, our neighbor now knocked at our door. He now asked me, where is my mommy? And I said, she went to church. Where is my daddy? And I said, they have gone to church. Where is my siblings? And I said, they have gone to church. So he now said I should help him and buy drugs. And I said, okay, I'm preparing for church. So if I prepare for church finish, I will come and clear the money. Coming back from church, I will buy the drugs and come and give him. And I said, okay, he now went. I now went inside, preparing for church. So when I prepared finish, followed the passage door coming from the parlor, and I saw him standing on the parlor. So when I saw him standing on the parlor, and I stretched my hand so he would give me the money for the drugs, He now hold my hand, he now push me on the chair, and I shouted. As I shouted, he now covered my mouth, and he now tore my pants, and he now raped me finish. Now warned me that if he hear it anybody's mouth, even my mommy and my daddy, say as they are not around like this, he will come inside and kill me. Nobody will know.
So, did you tell somebody?
Yes.
Who did you tell?
As I cannot go to church again because my private part is paining me and blood all
And you were
over.
a virgin.
Yes, blood all over our chair. So my mom now came back from church. She now asked me why I had not come to church, and I told her. She now said that let my daddy come back. She now told my daddy. My daddy now said that let me explain by myself, and I explained by myself. So my daddy now wait till Sunday. He now go and report to police.
Okay.
So the police people now when he report to the police people now came on Sunday evening. So they now take the man to police station. The compound people was now asking what happened. My daddy now said that if they want to know, they should come to police station. So they now come to police station that night. So as they now came to police station, they now hear what happened. So I now repeat what I say again. So they now ask the man that is he only the man in this compound that this small girl will mention his name. The man did not answer anything. He just kept quiet. I was not looking at them. So the next day,
What did he say?
he said,
Did he say it happened? Did he admit
No.
to it? What did he say?
he denied it.
Okay.
He said he did not do anything. So the next day, on Monday, the now said we should come back again. We now come back. So the now said we should go and settle.
Who said you should go and settle?
The police
The
people.
police told
Yes, my daddy and
your daddy
my,
that you should go and settle.
Yes. The police told us to go and settle. So he now said my daddy should bring his pastor or his brother.
Who said that?
Brother, one of the police.
Okay.
So he now told the man that let the man bring his pastor or his brother. So that on Sunday now reach the day they will settle the case. So my daddy was now waiting at that time. So when my daddy is waiting, around something like 11, the man now bring a drunkard. So my daddy now told him that he cannot settle with you if you not bring your pastor or your brother. Means this tomorrow will carry the case back to the place. So when on Monday now reached, so as we went back to go and tell them, we now saw that is another people that is in the ordinary police people. So the main one that told us they transfer into another place. So the police people, the ordinary ones there now told me to follow them. They now take me inside one dark room. My daddy was now following me. So they now told my daddy if my daddy did not go back, they will shout. So my daddy now went back. So they now take me inside one dark room. They now told me that I should lay down. One carry handcuff, one remove slippers.
That's the police?
Yes. So one now bring out pipe. Now say that if I no mention another person name, let me stop mentioning the man name. So if I no mention another person,
These were police officers that were doing this.
Yes. So if I no mention the another person name, say I will not see my mommy and my daddy and my siblings. Say they will lock me inside one dark room. And there's one thing they used to pump and the thing will blow somebody off. So the nurse they will do it like that. If I continue mention another that man name, let me not mention the man name. So because of fear, I now mention another person name that did not do me anything.
Whose name did you mention?
One boy they call Yellow.
So it's just like somebody in your area.
Yes, in our compound too.
Okay, so how did you come here? Like, how did you come? What made you come to this place? What made you come here?
Is when we went to court. There's one foundation that came to court. So my daddy now met him. Then now told them. So they now take us, carry us and come to this shelter.
How long ago was that?
2019 September.
2019.
Yes.
How old were you then?
I was 13. We used to run under the rain with the baby. We'll be looking for where to hide. Because
A baby.
Yes, me and my mommy.
How did the baby come into the picture?
Through the rape process.
Okay, so when you were raped,
Yes.
you got pregnant.
Yes.
How did you find out?
I was not eating very well. So how I used to do work, I not used to do it again. So my mommy now noticed something on my body. So my mommy did not take me to hospital. When we went to police, they take me and the man to hospital to check.
Okay.
They now found that I'm pregnant.
They found out that you were pregnant.
Yes.
And what happened
Even
next?
when we went to police safe, when we report, I was pregnant.
So what happened next?
So my mommy now carry me and my last born, and she will now left to another place to go and rent house.
Your mom carried.
Yes.
What of your dad?
My dad is with my junior ones.
Okay, so your mom now took you somewhere else.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to ask you a question. How was pregnancy like for you when you got pregnant? How was it like being pregnant at that age? How was it like for you?
So bad.
You can tell me about that.
During pregnancy, before I used to go to school, when I go to school like this, before I used to do jogging, they also should call for jogging. But when I'm pregnant, I'll just sit one place in the class, just be looking others when they are jogging. I'll just sit down. So during pregnancy is bad.
When you were pregnant, you were going to school.
Yes.
The pregnancy was it showing?
No, it's 1 month that time.
Okay, so at what point did you stop going to school?
When the pregnancy reached 2 months, I now stopped going
Okay.
to school.
You stopped going to school.
Yes, childbirth is difficult for me. Every month we used to go to hospital. They would donate blood for me. Because of that, my daddy, I lost everything for my family. My daddy used all his car. He sold his car to buy blood for me. During Geneva is so bad. So they bought safety delivery and operation delivery. So they first bought it safely on. So they now check me up. They now say that I'll not give birth normal. They'll do operation.
Yeah.
So my mommy was now crying. My daddy was now crying. They was now praying. So the person that told my mommy that I will not deliver safely, just say, okay, let her go and bring something. So they now pay half of the operation deliverance. So the midwife there now came to me, now checked me again, now saw the baby is halfway. So she now told me that I should push, and I pushed out the baby. So before that one that told us that his operation will come, she have dressed the baby, dressed me up, I'll sit down, everything, before she even came. So my mom now starts praying to God, was now happy to God.
Yeah, so you pushed out
Yes.
normal way.
Yes.
So how did that, when your baby came out, how did you feel? How did it make you feel when you saw your child?
Bad.
You felt?
Bad.
You felt bad?
Yes.
Why?
Because my mate is in the school. Me, I'm here carrying baby. One day when the baby was crying, I left the baby, went to the backyard to sit down. So I was remembering all the times I was going to school. So my mom now came to me, now said that, now called me, now said, look at the baby is crying. And I said, why is it my business? She now carried the baby, now come to me and told me that I should take this baby. And I said, why? She now said, no worry. Say, the thing have happened. I should take the baby as my baby. So then I now start taking the baby as my baby.
It was at that point it changed. You started accepting your baby.
Yes.
How many months was the baby when you started accepting the baby?
The baby is still small months. It's still, because when we came here, the baby is 3 months.
Okay.
So the time that I did not want to carry the baby, even when I was giving the baby breast, I fainted. So they now take me to hospital. The doctor now said that I should not give the baby breast again. Say I'm not used to give a baby breast. Say I should, my daddy, they should give giving the baby milk or pap.
Okay.
So my mom now starts giving the baby milk and pap. So when Anna came here, I started liking the baby.
So it was when you came here you started liking the baby?
Yes. So I started liking the baby.
Why is that?
And I saw another girl.
Okay.
The same two with me, and
The same age as you?
No, the girl senior me, she was 16 when she was raped. So I now look at the girl, how she's taking care of her baby, how she is. I will go inside the girl room and help her to carry the baby. Me and I start liking my own baby too. So the girl was now encouraging me, say the thing have happened, say I should love my baby, I should not allow anything to happen to my baby. I should always be there for my baby, and I should always fight for my baby. And that's so okay.
Okay, so before all of this happened, what did you want to be when you grow up?
I always want to be a medical doctor.
You've always wanted to be a medical doctor?
Yes.
Okay, has that changed now, or you still want to be?
I want to be a medical doctor.
Okay, in what class were you in when you stopped going to school?
JS3.
JS3.
Yes.
And you would, what's one thing you really want right now?
I want let me and my baby go back to school, and my siblings go back to school.
How many siblings you have?
I have 4 plus me, making 5.
Okay, where are they now?
They are with my daddy.
Okay. So you're the only one that is here?
Yes.
And you and your baby?
Yes.
Okay, so you want all your siblings to
Yes.
go back to school,
Yes.
so you also want to go back to school?
Yes, and my baby too. and I want my mommy to let her help my mom with business. Let her start doing business.
Okay. So the whole experience, like everything you went through and the rape, how has it changed your life?
So when I came here, I now used to run again. Here is safe. We start looking for where we put our head to sleep. But now as I came here, it's safe. The Dorothy Foundation is providing food for my baby, pampers, everything I'm eating. If I stay one place and be kind, the workers will pet me, will say I should stop crying, this one, they will console me. So since when I came here, mind is rest. I'm not used to think again, because before I used to think, how this, why this happened to me, why this. But now I don't used to think. But the thing that I used to do is just to pray to God to let me my case settle, let me go back to school. That's all I used to say now.
Okay, so is there any other thing like you would want us to support Dorothy Foundation with?
I want you guys to support Dorothy Foundation to make all the old people know that they are real, even the government, so the government will help them, so, and the government will believe what they are doing, and they should build a big office for them, and help them for many things they need.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We've heard everything she said. It's really sad what this poor child has had to go through. She was just, a normal child trying to have a normal upbringing, a normal childhood. She deserved a normal childhood just like every one of us. Going through the entire process. She didn't bargain for any of this. All she just wanted was go to school, aspire to be anything she wants to be, grow like a normal child, go through the normal thing every child will go through, grow into an adult and get her life together. And all of that was snatched away from her. All of that was taken away from her. She was just a 12-year-old that was in school minding her business, and this just happened to her. A neighbor raping her and making her have to drop out of school because in the process she got pregnant. This affected her in so many ways than anybody could explain. It was too much for the family because they didn't budget for any of this, they didn't bargain for any of this. All they were just doing was trying to give their children, because she's not the only one they have like a couple of other children, giving their children whatever help and upbringing the children deserve, see them through school and see how they can get their life together. But all of this was snatched away from her by this perpetrator of a neighbor that out of every woman in this life, he decided that it was a 12-year-old child that he could do all of this to, he could inflict all of this on. Like, she didn't deserve this at all. Making her drop out of school, every plan she ever had being thrown away, because now she's pregnant with a child she did not think she could have anytime soon. I mean, everybody's expected that you will go through school, when you have everything figured out, then you could, go through the normal process of, it's different for everybody. It's not everyone that might get married or whatever. Some might have their own, just want to have their kids and not get married. Some might want to get married, have their kids, have their entire family. But all of this decision was taken away from this poor child. She was not allowed to experience all of this, and it just landed her in this position she didn't budget for. Now, she is in the Dorothy Njemanzi Foundation. Everybody failed her. The system failed her. The Nigerian police force failed her. They failed her because they were in the right position to see it through and see that she gets justice. And this guy paid for everything he did to this family and to this child. But they failed her. she was intimidated and made to call someone else's name so that he gets out of the hook, which is very unfortunate. All of this is shaping this child to be something she didn't plan to be in future. This has affected her in so many ways. It's just so unfortunate and so sad. Concrete actions have to be taken to tackle the rape crisis in the world. Nigeria also. It needs to be tackled with the seriousness it deserves. Women and girls, they continue to be failed by a system that makes it increasingly difficult for survivors to get justice. They allow perpetrators just get away with gross human rights violations. For what? As the same energy we are using to ask rape victims, what were you wearing? Where were you at? You are the reason this happened. Let's channel that same energy to these perpetrators. Let's make sure these people suffer for all these things they do to people, to women. Another thing is the fear of not being believed, or being blamed of being raped is creating a very dangerous culture of silence that prevents survivors from just seeking justice. They want to just keep it to themselves and just let it slide, but how many could we possibly make slide? It's unacceptable that survivors of rape and other forms of gender-based violence, they get to face such a torturous ordeal to get justice. It's just so sad. Nigeria recently, I think it was recently, or I think in 2020, when we had like a rise in rape cases. The truth is, in 2020 during the lockdown, we had a lot of reports of rape cases. But the truth is, it didn't just start today. It started a long time ago. It's just that, recently it started gaining more, media coverage. People just kept talking about it more, during this lockdown, and a lot of people, became aware of, things people were going through. But this is something that's been happening for a very long time. Nigeria declared the state of emergency sometime when there was an uprise in, the case of reported rape cases. But it really did not change anything, because I just feel like it was just empty declaration, because nothing was done to protect women and girls in Nigeria after that. It still returned to the same thing. No policy was put in place, nothing at all. Rape continues to be one of the most prevalent human rights violations in Nigeria. I'll tell you that for a fact. I remember in 2020 when the case of Uwa, the 22-year-old microbiology student that was raped and brutally assaulted in a church near her hometown in Benin. She died a couple of days after her injuries. What she went through was hell. She went through hell. All she did was just go to church. She didn't bargain or budget for any of that. We have Hamira, who was a 5-year-old, child. She was drugged and raped by her neighbor in that same 2020. Her injuries were so bad that she could not even control her bladder. Oh my God, how do you do that to a child? How do you do that to a 5-year-old? We had the case of Barakat Bello. She was an 18-year-old student who was raped during a robbery in her hometown in Ibadan. She was butchered with machetes by her rapist. It's not bad enough that you're raping these people, you're raping these women. You still get to inflict so much pain and hurt to them. You still make sure you take life out of them before you leave them, just to prove what point. You even have the case of Faith Okechukwu. She was an 11-year-old girl who was gang raped to death in Ejigbo. We even have a 70-year-old woman. A 70-year-old woman. How are you even aroused by a child and an elderly woman like that? A 70-year-old woman who was raped in Ogun State. We even have a 6-year-old child that was raped to death in Kaduna State. This is too much. The lockdown, like I said, there was really an upsurge in the cases of rape, but it didn't just start then. It started a long time ago. Everybody needs to do better at protecting women and girls by ensuring that these perpetrators of rape, they get to face justice. And we need to ensure that these survivors get protection and the psychological and mental support they deserve. Nigerian police, for example, we need to do better. We need to provide all necessary support to survivors, and we need to act in line with their code. They need to start acting in line with their code of conduct. They need to provide safe process of seeking justice for these survivors, so people can be safe to report cases of gender-based violence, and they are sure that they will get justice at the end of the day. And courts, on the other hand, they need to ensure that cases of sexual sexual violence are fairly and promptly persecuted. This case of this my guest is still in court. It's been in court since she was raped. She was raped when she was 12 and she's 16 now. So the case has been in court for over how many years now? Explain to me why there is no decision on what should be done. She has a child. A 12-year-old didn't just go get pregnant out of nowhere. It's very obvious that this neighbor of hers is responsible. He raped her. All of this happened. She was intimidated by the police. And this is because, of course, the neighbor paid the police to just intimidate this family. Maybe it could be because they didn't have enough to fight for them or whatnot. Anyway, stigma and victim blaming are key factors to hindering the reporting of rape. That's one of the reasons that people don't even come out to report rape cases at all. Some survivors, they say they are discouraged from seeking justice because of the toxic attitude of police officers towards gender-based violence, which manifested in humiliating lines of questioning and victim blaming. Why should people even go through all of this? Why should people even go through all of this just because they are seeking justice? Why can't it be just? Why can't it be free and fair? It's so unfortunate. It's so sad. I hope that, we all do better. And truthfully, it starts from you and I. It starts from us. Before you even go to your authorities, it starts from us. It starts from how we react to cases like this. When people talk about things like this, your first instinct shouldn't be to blame the victim. That shouldn't be your first instinct. I always say this. I would rather believe a victim first, because I understand the fact that a lot of women come out these days also. No, I would say a lot. Like a couple of women come out these days and, they falsely blame people, of rape incidents and things like that. But then I would rather believe a victim first until proven otherwise, than to just go ahead and just blame the victim immediately and start asking questions that you shouldn't even be asking. It's very unfortunate. Let the victim, especially if it's a child. Like, there is no reason why a child want to lie on an adult. There really is no reason a child want to lie on an adult. So 80% of the time, whatever the child is saying, whatever they are saying is true. So, like I said, this is just an underage girl. She's still 16. She's not even 18 yet. She's still a minor. And all she wants right now is just to go back to school. She just wants to go back to school. She wants her child to be in school. She just wants, an environment. Yes, Dorothy Njimanzi Foundation is giving her that environment, where she feels safe and she feels better. We've heard her talk. We've heard everything she said about feeling better right now. At first, she was not accepting the child. But now she has grown to accept the child because she has also been in this environment where she has seen underage just like her that went through this process. But because she was helped through the foundation, that one was stronger. So when she came, she just, watched how the girl was taking care of her own child and just decided to do the same thing with her child. So I just hope with this her episode, I just really hope, whoever would listen, any way you can support the foundation, anything you can do to help this girl go back to school, to help her child, have an education also. It will really help them a lot. So I really do hope that people would help the foundation. Like I said, you can reach out to me directly if you can reach out to the foundation on any of my social media handle, and I will definitely connect you to the foundation. I'm going to drop other episodes on I spoke to someone that was molested for 7 years. I spoke to 2 women that went through domestic violence. I'm going to be releasing that, as time goes on. Maybe I'll release that, every week, to see how that goes, or every 2 weeks. It depends. But anyways, yeah, so whatever way you can support, please do. We really do appreciate. This is all what we're about. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Flora Chiedo. This is Bold and Beautiful with a Glass of Wine podcast, and I am signing out.